everybody, and welcome to another video and also Twitch stream. So we're doing a couple different things here at one time. Usually what I've been doing now lately is, because I'm doing a lot of content, I go ahead and do a Twitch stream, which is now live, and then I go ahead and take that stream and cut it into videos. So because right now I haven't had a definitive schedule on my Twitch streaming times, I'm going to go ahead and just cut the videos from the Twitch feed, and hopefully, well, not hopefully, by Monday, this Monday coming up, which would be the 8th, I'll have a definitive streaming schedule finally, so you can catch me on Twitch at a more consistent time. Right now I'm still working on some things. I'm working on another new layout, put my son's art down there as a way of kind of bracketing this video and Twitch stream. So I really like it. And so what are we going to talk about tonight, or in this video? We are going to do, and I've been waiting to do this because I don't have all the cards yet, but I've seen all the cards and I have picked all the ones that I think are the best right now. And I get a lot of questions. Shifu of the cards. What's the best card in Kung Fu Panda Battle of Destiny? What's the best legendary? What's the best epic? What should I craft? I get that a lot on my Twitter feed. I get that a lot on my Facebook page. I get that in private messages and on my YouTube channel. So I thought what I would do is break down the cards of Kung Fu Panda Battle of Destiny. I think this will be a very good tutorial for advanced players and newer players to get an idea on how I think the cards work, what the strengths are, what the weaknesses are, and how they interact with each other. So this might be a lengthy YouTube video, but it will be very informative and may help you build some advanced decks. I've been working on at the same time a species-specific deck with wolves only, pigs only. I have a Poe petting zoo deck that you see right here that I'm about to unveil and do a video on after the card tutorial. So without further ado, enough about hearing me gas bag on. Let me go ahead and start opening up some of the cards. So what we have is go to the collection. Sorry, lost train of thought. So let's start at the very top. I am one of the things you'll find about me if you listen to my stream, my YouTube video, is that I don't like cards with 2 health, which is the red number there at the bottom right of that first card, Tailbiter. The first 2 cards are going to be your defensive cards. If you have to put one in, try to get the Test Taster. At least it has 3 healths. It can survive an initial surge. The Test Taster would not be bad in a few decks, like for example, Tigress. If you wanted to then have a 0/3 that you can pump in, and then you play her super ability where it gives +3 to all of her minions. So that would be a great card. Test Taster. If you're building a low-cost Tigress Zerg deck, Test Taster would be really good there. Burly Ox is actually a pretty solid card in almost every deck if you're looking to be a little defensive or to stall the opponent's aggression at you. It's a 1/3, so it has the health requirement to survive the hero damage. And so why is 2 and 3 important? You want it to be 3, so that let's say they have a 6/6 minion on the board, and you have that 1/3. That 1/3 will stop a 6/6 minion from hitting your face because the hero has 2 attacks. So that hero can't clear out a minion with 3 health. Thereby, it stalls a big attack from coming through, giving you a chance to regroup and deal with it. So Burly Ox, and that's a basic card of the set. If you see right there, there's no gem color in the middle. So Test Taster has a white gem color. It means it's a very common, easy to get card or easy to craft. Burly Ox has no gem color, so it is part of the basic set. I reached champion with a Shen deck with all basic cards and all white cards, and you can do it too, but there are some cool cards that we'll get into in a second. Cape Crocodile is pretty interesting. It's a 3/1 with Cloak, so that is an interesting card because you can hide it. It'll go very well with a Tigress deck again, or if you're looking at a Cloak deck where they kind of hide in shadows, it's not a bad card for 1 cost, 3 damage. I don't like the health on it, so I don't use it, but it is a solid card. This card I don't have. It's a 1 cost, 1/1 steal enemy warrior's equipment. I've made a lot of videos about equipment decks, anti-equipment decks, and I just don't feel the metagame right now currently supports a big anti-equipment deck. That's why I haven't crafted this card. But it is it would be a great card if you just want. If it has a great legendary, you can just take it and then it would steal it onto this. So if one cost, let's say for example, there's some great equipment out there, like a +2/+2 Cloak of Shadows. Well, for one cost, you now have a 3/3 card, and you took away strength from the opponent. So it's a solid card if you run an anti-equipment deck. And it's a good solid card overall, just if you play it in the right situations. So maybe you put one of these in a deck. You wouldn't need two, I wouldn't think. So the Happy Hippo is almost in every starter deck. It's a actually very solid card. I just don't like it because the health pool is only 2. Mudslinger, it's solid again. Blind an enemy warrior. What that means is the warrior wouldn't be able to pick who it chooses. It would just randomly attack one of the enemies. Solid card. Again, doesn't meet my health requirements of 3. This is an interesting card. I see a lot of upper tier champion decks run it because it is pretty solid. It's a 1 drop, 1 cost, and it heals 2. So, for example, I thought about making a Poe deck that has healing in it. This would be great synergy for that because there's a card later on that allows you to draw a card for every time you heal. So this would end up being heal 2, draw 1 off that synergy. So it's not too bad. On itself, it's okay as well, just to heal, but it doesn't meet my thing of 3 health. So we go through Potbelly Bully. Talk about this quite a lot. It is a very good card because it can deal 1 damage and it does 2 on the board for 1 cost. So I wouldn't play it on turn 1. A lot of people do. That just basically, so it gives you 3 damage. So what? Later in the game, let's say somebody attacks you with a Cold Tooth. It's 3/5. They hit you, and now it's a 3/3 on the board. It's hard to get rid of. Potbelly Bully is now a 3/2. Running into it clears the board. That's just one example, but there are even better examples later on. So this is a good late game board clear minion, in my opinion. Ruffled Rooster, 1/1 with poison. If you're building a poison themed deck, this could be a very good card. And we're just going to go right to from left to right on the screen in order. I don't want to really delve in and have a huge deal on all the cards because it'd be a 2-hour video, and I'm sure any of you is going to watch a 2-hour video. But I will touch on every card. The next one is a Rushing Rooster. Now this is an interesting card because it's a 1 cost 1/3, and it has a 3 health requirement. It's a 1 cost, and if Monkey, this is a card I'm looking at for Monkey specifically. If Monkey's tricks ever become a thing to where it has more synergy with Monkey, this would be almost an auto include in Monkey and just pump up, because there's cards in Monkeys that let you play a trick for free, so you can play some tricks, pump it up. It's like a 5/3 before you even know it. So it has some good synergy and possibly in a Monkey deck. Or if you build a trick deck in anything, because Ludi announced they're going to come out with new cards and really support this game. Another 1 cost, a Sable Swordsman is a solid card in like Tigress if you're looking for a pump up or good burst damage deck. Solid. Snappy Soldier, remove 1 strength from an equipped warrior. It doesn't have the health requirements for me. It's a 1 cost, and again, anti-equipment tech. I don't know that it's that great. Strong Legs, kickoff, gain +2 strength points. Now this is a good card. So gain 2 strength. The opponent has an equipped warrior. This could fit in an anti-equipment tech, obviously, but this is an underutilized card. If you're playing like late game and you have a Tigress deck and you're going against a Shen, or any really late games when you see a lot of equipment come out. So I'd hold this card for late game, unless you just had to put down a defender. So you could use early game defense. Late game, you have a 1 cost 3/3, which is really invaluable for just 1 cost 3/3, putting equipment on it real fast. It's a 5/5 1 cost, and you see what I'm saying? It's a good late game card, underutilized card. I don't see a lot of people using it. Strong Legs is a very, very good card. The Wanderer, kickoff, unequipped random warrior. A lot of anti-equipment tech for a metagame that hasn't really evolved yet. It lets me think that Ludi is going to start to develop an equipment-centric theme or edition, and in that case, these cards will be very valuable. For right now, when you have most decks just go right for the face until late game, equipment really isn't that big a deal. And this one doesn't have the health requirement that I like, but it's still a good card. Tiny Taoist has +1 strength when another warrior is in guard. Solid, but again, it only has 2 health, so it's good for 1 punch for 3. There are better cards out there, but it's a solid card. Wolfpack. Now, in my Wolf-themed Shen deck, I use this card as a late-game minion. And a lot of younger players or new players to CCGs, collectible card games, misuse a lot of these cards. This card is not meant to be played naked. What that means is by itself on the board. This card is meant to be a finisher. For example, a good combo with Wolfpack is Boss Wolf. And Boss Wolf, let me just show you what that is. Boss Wolf, oh, I hit the wrong one. Boss Wolf is Shen's legendary minion, creature. Meditate Cloak. At the start of your turn, fill the side of the board with 1/3 Wily Wolves. So all of a sudden you put that card down first. It's a 1 cost. You put Boss Wolf down. So on turn 8, you have a board filled with, if they're the only 2 creatures on the board, 4, 2, 3 cards. That's 8 damage going right through. Plus, it's 8 damage plus, or you can just do it's 4, 2, 3 taunters. However you want to play it, and it refreshes itself because he'll do it again the next turn. So you just have a wave of 2, 3 cards with that synergy. So something to be aware of there. Now I've got to go back to the top here. Oh, okay, there we go. Look, I know what I'm doing here. So Wolfpack, I see a lot of players on turn 1 play this card down, and it's a 2/1, and I'm like, oh my gosh, why? Why do that? If you're going to play a 1 cost 2/1, you might as well play the Tiny Taoist, which is a 2/2, and it buffs up if you have something next to it. So Battle Bleeder, whenever a warrior has successful dodge, gain +2 strength. There are some masters, that have a dodge kind of theme. There's some Viper cards with dodge, and then there's some Crane and Monkey cards with dodge. This would be a good synergistic card for that because it has 1/4 health and it gains strength every time something dodges. So let's say you have a dodge in guard and it dodges twice. All of a sudden, you're looking at a 5/4 card for 2 mana. Very good card, underutilized because I don't see a lot of dodge decks. But if you did, this would be an auto include and only 2 costs. Blind Seer, 2 cost 2/3. Whenever your opponent plays a scroll, your warriors gain 1 health. That's a great card, but because it has such a low cost, a low health, the opponent will take care of that before it plays a scroll. So it's great if you have a lot of defense, you build a control deck, and you can protect that card. You can get some benefit out of it, a lot of benefit out of it. So keep that in mind for control players. Blind Seer would be a nice include later on in like the corner when you protect it. I'm gonna ask Ludi again if they're watching. Somehow put my Shifu the cards quote on here. Greatest card of all time. Period. Or any quote. I just wanted this card. Might get a tattoo of it. I don't know. No, I'm just kidding. But this is the best card in the game at 2 costs, in my opinion, because it has won me literally hundreds of games. Because it deals 3 damage right off the bat, and it can be used to go and guard right after that. And I've used it to clear off I don't know how many gorillas that do the 5, 4, and 3. I do 3 right back to them, run them into them. It's 4 damage off the start. Gets rid of that gorilla. Just one of the best cards in the game, in my opinion. It's if you've watched any of my videos, you've seen 100 different ways the Bunny Bowman has been used. Maybe say Shifu of the Bowman for the next one for Ludia. So 2 straight bunny cards, and yes, I have built a bunny Tigers deck that is amazing, and I will show it. And this is a very key card to the bunny deck. Excuse me, and it's a good card for Tigers for burst. Your other warriors have one strength, and it's 1/3, so it has good health. It's good for burst. Okay. When you start the game, you get this. This comes with the game, a 3/3 Firetail, and it should be in all of your decks. Just so you know. You should have 2 of these in every one of your decks when you're first starting out. And then eventually, you'd be wise to transition to this card, which is a common. Now, what's the difference? It's the exact same cost, exact same stats, but this one has pushback. So right there, it's better, and it's just a common. Once you get it, it's better than the other card because it does pushback. And what pushback does, removes guard. So late game, if you get one early game, it functions the same way as Firetail. It just comes out, hits for 3, and stays on the board as a 3/1. So same thing. But late game, if you're trying to push through a crab or some kind of big defense, this card breaks their defense, and you can win. So it's much more valuable than the Firetail. I just crafted 2 of these today. I finally got my hands on them, and I am super excited about it. As you all know, or if you're new, now you know, I play a lot of control decks. So I like this card. It's a high health card. It is amazing. 2 cost, 2/6. Usually I've been running, well, I'll show you what I've been running usually. 2 cost, 2/6, cheap, comes out on the board early. They've got to deal with it. It can absorb damage, and it has added bonus. Removes 2 strength from an equipped warrior late game. But I just like it for the high health pool, low cost. Just gets it out there and allows me to play pigs and other things around it to buff it up. But this is a great 2 cost card that I just crafted. I just got my hands on it, and already my decks are even better. I haven't put them on all my decks. Most of the time I had a musical mollusk, which we'll talk about, and I've replaced them with this one. This is a great card for control decks. Give another friendly minion +1 health. Adds to the defense. Low cost, 3 health. Very good. One of my favorites again, the Hungry Hog. Good. You don't really want to play it early game by itself because people just crush it. Because it's much better used for late game when you have a little bit of presence. You can put it out there, and what it does, every time it takes a hit, it heals people next to it. So it's just a great taunter, a decent sized health pool for a 2 cost. But as you see, the one we just talked about has a better size health pool and more damage. But so that's what the one you want to play earlier, and the Hungry Hog later. The first legendary we have come to in our stream tonight. Juntao. Range damage +1. Farewell. Get a card from the armory. 2 cost, 2/2. Very good card. I don't have it because I don't like it's only 2 health. And I don't want to beat a dead horse, but it is very crucial. So what you're playing with this one is you're getting cards from armory. So if you're running an equipment deck, this would be a great card to have. It's a solid legendary. Ludia did a great job, in my opinion, of designing cards that you don't have to have an all-legendary deck to be. You can play it right off the bat. They designed it really well, but some of the legendaries they have later on are so good that if you have this one, this would be one of the ones you might want to disenchant to grab some of these other cards I've talked about before. So just now we got to our first legendary. To recap, the best cards of the early set are the Burly Ox. Great card for early defense stabilization like we talked about. The Potbelly Bully. Great card for late game control. The Strong Legs. Very solid tech card. Wolf Pack for synergy with a wolf deck. The best card. Shifu the cards. They're all 1. I know I go by the card too much, but it's really won't be that many games. I'm that crazy about it. Fast Foul, a great card. Almost an auto include in every deck. At least 1, possibly 2. Because it's good early game board presence and late game push through. Heroic Hatchling, great early game for control cards. And keep in mind also, you can disagree. And please, let this be an open forum where we can talk and share ideas. This is by no means a definitive, this is it, I'm right, everybody else doesn't know enough. This is simply my opinions, my view on these cards, and hopefully helps people understand some cool cards and cool decks to build. If you have cards that you want a spotlight on, please tell me. Tell everybody. Let's get this community going. This is an exchange of ideas. This is not a me preaching. This card's great. One of my favorite cards, again, Hungry Hog for control. So let's recap some of, I think, the best cards of the early set. Joy Riders, I'm not very good. I don't like this card, actually. I'm just going to say it. A lot of people use it because it gives you 2 cards for 1, but they're both under 2 health, therefore I don't like them. Loyal Lackey is really good in a wolf-specific deck. And a Tigress deck, believe it or not, because it does 2. You can pump it up, and it does an additional 2. So basically, it's like a 4/2 if you're hitting enemy master with it. So it's good for a late game push. A lot of people use this card, and I don't understand for the life of me why. It comes with a set. It has a high health total, but it has Meditate, so people can deal with it on the board. And guess what card deals with this better than any? Because I've done it myself many a times. the Bunny Bowman. I don't know how many times I've countered that card with Bunny Bowman and just picked it apart. Musical Mollusk was a great card that I've used in all my decks for so long. It's now going to be replaced by the Heroic Hatchling, simply because it's the same cost, it has 2 more health, and it removes 2 strength. So a lot of people ask me, that makes a good point, if I don't have this card, what can I use to replace it? You can use the Musical Mollusk as opposed to this, but if you get a chance, like I just got a chance to craft 2, and now my world is just rainbows and sunshine. But this is a good card because it has 2 and it stays on the board. So Musical Mollusk is one of my favorite cards of the set. Poison Tips is actually really good. You can build a poison themed deck. This one would be a good one to include. It's just a solid, nasty little poison card. This is a great card. A lot of people use, a lot of upper champions use this card because it's always great to draw a card. How do you get an answer in your hand? You draw a card. 2 costs, draw a card. Basically, it's only there for, and it gives you a little bit of defense, at least to take away the hero's attack. So a lot of people play this card, and with good reason. It's a very good card. One of my favorite cards in the early set is a Radish Romper. Much like the Bunny Bowman, but this one has a requirement that the hero be in guard. I like this card. It is a good little 2 pokey. I think I have one of this card in all of my decks. Razorback, a card that I was like, I don't like this card. However, because it's low health, I was like, eh. However, it has won me a few games recently in my Crane deck because it synergizes real well with Crane's Leap. So Razorback is a good card, 2 cost, putting equipment on it. There's a Crane equipment that if this warrior has Leap, it gains +2 attack. Beautiful. I only have one though in my Crane deck. Shifu Student. I've seen a lot of people play this, and it's very good, but they misplay it. If you're running a lot of little low-cost minions like that Joy Riders talked about, this would be a good way to capitalize on that card. You play this card, play the Joy Riders, run the Joy Riders into bigger creatures. When they blow up, it adds 2 damage to those little cards. Very, very good card for early game nastiness and trickiness. Sous Chef, Blackout a Warrior. It's like the other one we saw, Blind a Warrior. Pigs have a lot of functionality like that, which one my Pochop deck is doing so well. Blackout a Warrior is very key. So, for example, I'll stick on him for a while. Blackout a Warrior. You're running against Candid K9 and Shen. How many of you have lost to that card? Because it's a 4/1 that adds plus damage, plus health for all the cards in his hand. Well, guess what? You black it out, it's now a 4/1. No more problem. So that's probably the best counter I can think of off the top of my head where this would be good. Kick off destroyed enemy, a random enemy trick. That's pretty solid, but it's 2 cost, 2 health. But it's if you're running, if tricks become a thing, this could be kind of an include. The Opportunist, your equipped warriors gain +2 health. Again, if you're running an equipment-centric deck, this would be good to put one of him in there. Thunder Feet, spill over adjacent warriors. It's only 3 attacks, so I don't know exactly how great that is and only 1 health. I would never have this in one of my decks, but I mean, if you're running a spillover heavy deck with buffs and you play that with Tigress's ability, that spillover would be pretty nasty. So like a Tiger spillover deck is probably going to be a thing. I'm going to build it, and that would be a card you want to put in it in that case. Second legendary, Tuzi, Assassin. Poison, Farewell, Destroy all tricks. Again, if the meta comes to a point where you have a secret, like a secret paladin deck for those Hearthstone players out there, this card would be like your favorite card of all time. It poisons when it dies, so it doesn't have a lot of health. So what you do is you run it late game against a big legendary minion or a big minion. It would poison it, do 3 damage, so it would in essence take 5, and it would destroy all tricks. It's so specific on what it needs that I don't see this being one of the must-have legendaries. Viceroy Shen, gain +2/+2 for all tricks in play. Ludi has done a great job designing this card set. I mean, it is beautiful. They have a lot of different options for tricks, for secrets, for equipment. For tricks and equipment, excuse me, and for scrolls. There's tech all inside this. But right now, the meta game, the deck crafters have not been enough to capitalize on a meta that is equipment-centric, scroll-centric, trick-centric. So when we catch up to Ludia's build, then you're going to start to see a lot more of these cards be important. But right now, there's just not a lot of trick decks. Barbarian, kick off, choose at random, all other enemy friendly warriors get block, dodge, or leap. That's awesome. It's awesome. Tiger's deck, if you're trying to Zerg them, put one of these bad boys in there. Barbarian, it works the same as a Hansel Meccano and Hearthstone. It's beautiful. I mean, just if you can give them all leap, they can jump over everything. Dodge is great. I mean, it's just, if you're running a big minion swarm, if you're playing Boss Wolf, for example, and you play him, all those little wolves become dodge, block, or leap. It's an amazing card. Bellhopper, bunny synergy. I don't have this in here, but I like it. Your other bunnies gain +2 strength. I don't think I need to explain how important that is, because there's a card coming out that is one of my favorite cards in the deck for bunnies that this would be ridiculous with. Butterfingers, another bunny card. This card is, I mean, look. Okay, so when you get the game, this is what you start off with. A 2/6 Careless Crocodile. And I used it in every one of my decks because the health pool was so high. If you remember back a few minutes ago, there's now a 2-cost 2/6 that I use instead. So better cost, same health, and no negative like can't guard. But if you can't wait for that epic, what you need to do is get this one. It's a common. Butterfingers. This card you must craft. This should be in every one of your decks, at least 2 of them, because it is a great attack. It has a great health pool. So what? It can't be equipped. It doesn't matter. It's not going to be on the board for that long. You're wanting this to clear out cold 2s. You want it to clear out anything. This card is super, 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 super valuable. I have 2 of this card in every deck. I have 2 Bunny Bowman in every deck. You're starting to see kind of, there's a core cards I think are the best in the game, and this is definitely one of them. And it's common. Alright. I got excited there. Cottontail Cook, and actually an awesome card for bunnies. It's basically a 3-cost 3/4. That's good. So, and it's bunny synergy. Here's a card I was telling you about earlier that works with that goose, the chicken, the hen, excuse me, that heals 2, paramedic or whatever it was. Now you draw a card. So this is a synergy there, and it's low-cost synergy. It's a very good. I have it in my Poe deck because I heal like a madman, and this card has drawn me 6 cards in a turn. No, excuse me. 4 cards in a turn one time. It was awesome. Person quit. It's on one of my videos. Again, this one's not too bad because the initial card is 1/3, so it plays good defense, and it summons a 2/1 War Caller, so it can knock out something. So this is not too bad. If you want to do a little bonus thing, this wouldn't be too bad. So yeah, this one's not too bad. This card, when I first saw it, I was like, I love the health. I've fallen in love with this card. Put this in a control deck. It adds health, which restores health, so it heals, which synergizes with Desert Dealer. This card is it's good. It's really good. If you can't get, I mean, it's just good. It's just a 1/5. I don't have it in any of my decks, but it's a good, solid card for defense. This is a great card. If you're running a control deck and you kind of get bogged down with hyper control, like you have all these big minions, like Mantis, for example, comes to mind, like 2/8s and 3/8s. This guy, because you have all this defense, sometimes you just kind of slowly grind your opponent down. This guy adds a little bit of punch each turn to where it speeds the game up. So one of these in a control deck would be very good to have. This is another one for me, is 2 in every deck. Because it's just such a great mid-range card. I think everybody packs 2 or 1 of these guys. It comes with the set. If you can't get the Butterfingers, the 3/6 bunny, this is a card you should have. It's money. It is money mid-game. This is a very good card as well. I've seen Tigers' decks use it, Mantis decks use it, Poe's deck. I've seen it in a lot of different decks. Very solid, high health, good cost. It's solid. It's solid. I would, depending on your deck build, I'd put maybe at most 1 of these. I wouldn't put 2 unless you're running like high guard with a lot of boosts. It's solid though. Another cloak card. We saw it 3/1, 1 cost earlier. Meditate Cloak, range damage +1. Now range damage will be a thing, I think, next expansion. But right now it's not a big thing yet, but it will be a thing. And Cloak. This card is fantastic, except that its health, which is a little higher, but it's 3 costs. 4 attack is huge, and immune to range damage, which means that if you are to I gotta realize I just had Discover Dragon's 9 to disregard that. Let me get rid of that. If you are to, somebody plays a spell, and somebody plays a spell, and it does 3 damage to your board, it'll dodge it. So you can't get rid of it with AoE spells, which is pretty good. Jingxi is really good 3-cost card, because if you have like that, for example, that Golden Spoon Bunny, I played a little equipment deck trying to build off it. This is an awesome card for it, because let's say you play this one, equip a 1/1 Golden Spoon for the 3/4, then you play him, that 1/1 spoon turns into basically a 2/2 spoon, because he gets it and makes it +1/+1. So he's basically a 3-cost 3/7. It's really good. But that being said, you don't need to craft him, because yes, he's a 3/7, but it requires some. Hopefully, you have a card with equipment, so there's a little bit of weight getting him on the board. And sometimes you don't want to take that equipment off, so he sits in your hand for a while. I had him crafted for a while and tried him out. In theory, he's good, but Butterfingers is just as good as common card 3/6. You lose 1 health, but you don't have to wait. You can play it as soon as you get it in your hand. Melon Crusher is phenomenal. Stun an enemy warrior. So I mean, you stun an enemy warrior, you can then dispatch it without taking any damage. That's huge. That's huge. Needle Biter, deal 1 damage to 2 random enemy warriors, is pretty solid. It's solid. It's a solid card. It's just a solid card. Proud Brewer, give a friendly warrior +1/+1 is also very good. It's good for buffing people up, obviously, and it's good for control, good for aggression. It's a little cheap card. Quick Brown Fox, quick up, all warriors lose cloak and tackle. Gain +2/+2 for each card lost. That could be really good. It could be really good. Again, the meta has not shifted too much where you have a lot of specialized cards like that with cloak and tackle. So at the most, you'll probably get one that has one of those things. Like Zay Spies, it's a great counter for Zay Spies, because Zay Spies is cloaked, takes it away. You get a 3-cost 3/3, but you can get a 3-cost 3/5. So, I mean, it removes a cloak from Zay Spies, but it'd be really the best thing for it. Quick Pockets, I see a lot of people run Quick Pockets. Draw a card, it's very good. 3 health, use it to burst into something, get a card draw out of it. So it's basically, think of it as a 3-cost, 3 damaging spell, like a Frostbolt in Hearthstone, but you draw a card from it. That's not bad. So Quick Pockets is a very smart card. Safety Goat, I love Safety Goat. Again, I'm a high health guy, high health minions. Beefy, 2/7, and equipment costs 2 more. It's anti-equipment tech built in, so it's a little added bonus. I like it. The Allergist, one of the strongest cards in the set at 3 costs. Whenever this minion takes damage, gain +2 strength. Perfect for Poe health gain decks. Perfect for anything that can heal. If you can heal this sucker, or if you just want it to be a fireball and just gain momentum and roll downhill and quickly burn out, it's good for that too. It takes a lot of damage with it. It is an awesome card. If you get a chance, this is one of the cards I'd also highly craft at least one of, to see the power of it and have fun with it. But try to put some heal tech in your deck for him to get more benefit out of it. And I use it later on to some of these legendaries, that I make them use a big clear card off him, like a KO card, to get rid of him, as opposed to using him for something else. Tripster Dodge. A lot of people tell me they love this card because of Dodge. I don't like it because it has 1 health. And that's where we're at with that. It comes with the set. Experiment with it if you want. Put some equipment on it. I'm not a huge Dodge fan, and 1 health, I'm definitely not a huge Dodge fan, but it could be a very good card. A lot of people swear by it, so I will respect their opinion and say a lot of people say it's a great card and it has good utility. Toxic Troublemaker has poison. It's a good card. I think it's a must include in a poison deck. Traveling Merchant, restore 2 health to all warriors. It is a good card. I have 1 in my Poe deck because I use it as a bomb, a 3-cost fireball with heal. If I have synergy out, you gotta look at it like that. If you have some of these cards, now you're looking at mid game to late game, and you'll look at it in terms of he's not gonna survive. He's going in there to die, especially if he has farewell. So you're doing at least 3 costs to some minion, and you're getting a benefit from it. That's hard to beat. It's a good card. Yakuza, Meditate. I just don't like Meditate cards. Low health pool. Just not a huge fan, although it's pretty big damage, so it's worth looking at, the Meditate pool. And you can build a Meditate deck, but Zealous Youth, give us Friendly Warrior Swift. Swift decks are a thing, and they are awesome. But it's a 1/5, and it's very just... It's not bad, but it's not something it's not bad. It's good for a Swift deck. This card I used for a very long time, Axe Grinder. It's a 4-cost 4/6 basically. That is a beefy card with Meditate. One of the few Meditate cards that I really liked, and it has the added bonus of equipment. So should you run equipment synergy, it is perfect. It is a must include at least one in an equipment deck in my opinion. Best bunnies, I like this in my bunny deck because it deploys 2 1/3 finger puppets, which do classify as bunnies. So when you're looking at bunny synergy, this is a great one to have. Meditate Tackle, 4-cost 3/3. It's solid, but it's not gonna... I mean, they gotta address it because it has tackle, and if they don't address it, you're gonna run through some serious stuff with it. Commander Hugh. Oh my goodness. This card looks to be really awesome in a control deck. All warriors gain Meditate when deployed. Now I don't know if that means if he's still he's in the game, that's what happens, or if they try to take him out. But his health pool is so high, it would be hard to take him out. And all warriors gain Meditate. Basically, you just slowed the game down. That means they can't come out and attack you. You can deal with their minions. If you had this combined with Zay Spies, oh my goodness. You're just hitting them for 2 and they are stalling. And you can just pick them apart at your leisure. This is a nasty legendary. I wish that I had it. I do not. But it is nasty. And that is the beginning of here we go. Some good legendaries. Crafty Cur, restore damage. That's a good card. Restore at full health and Meditate. So, okay, you're probably thinking, well, it gives it Meditate. It's bad. Look at the utility of it. Attack with a big minion. Let's say a 5/3. Let's say one of your minions is down. Let's say Master Flying Rhino is a 5/5. You hit the boss. You hit the enemy master. He's a 5/3. He's already used this turn. You play this. He goes back to a 5/7. Full health recover, and it's just great because he's already used his turn. Think of the Meditate in this case. Don't worry about it because you've already used it. Use it after you've used the creature you're going to heal, if possible. Destroyed enemy equipment, kick off Drill Sergeant. That's pretty good. It's a 4/2 right off the bat. It's not bad. This is a great card for control decks. A 4/1. What's good with? It's good with Viper. It comes in there, does 4 damage. So let's say it's a I don't know, an 8/4 minion. It would stun it and clear it out, and you can't beat that. I love this card. I use this card. I think I have one of this card in all my decks. It's great anti-Tiger synergy. It's basically a board clear. Basically a 2 damage board clear, and it is great. It has won me quite a few games. It's a bomb. This is a great card. 1/6 poison. Poison does 2 damage at the end of the turn. That is very good. Harried Harbinger is another one that people like to play because they love the synergy of it blowing up and getting 2 minions, but it gets 2/0/2 minions. I'd much rather, if I'm going to have a 4-cost, rather have this that gives me 1/3s, which gives me better defense. But if you don't have that, you can go with a Harried Harbinger. I use it in my Shen deck. I say it's not good, but I use it in my Shen deck to synergize with the Condor that gives each attack minion +2 attack. And I kind of use it just to hit people in desperate situations. I kept this big boy here just because he is basically Big Game Hunter from Hearthstone. KO Warrior with 8 strength or more. Does it happen a lot? No. You don't see many warriors with 8 strength or more. Do I have him in any decks? No. But I have a feeling this is a card that's going to be valuable at some point. So I'm keeping him. I'm not going to disenchant him. Kelp Catcher is in a lot of basic decks, and it should be. It's a Yeti. It's a good card, and you should have it if you don't have any one of the other cards we're talking about. It's much better than the card next to it, a 5/4 with Meditate. So it has more health, does less damage, but it doesn't have Meditate, so you can use it right off the bat. Mollified Medic, adjacent warriors gain +2 health. It's good for control deck. I'd put maybe 1 at a time. Nana, now this one's a special card for me because my mom had passed away. Her name was Nana to my grandchildren, or to her grandchildren. So I was lucky enough to get 2 foils, and it's an extremely special card to me. I'm trying to get emotional to talk about it. So I should take the opportunity to say, I love you, Mom. I miss you, and I know you're happy. And so, sorry. But this is Nana, and it's a very important card to me, and it's a good card because it heals and has good defense. Needle Shooter. This is a good card for control, and it pairs well with Zay Spies. Can attack at the start of your turn, deal 2 damage to a random enemy character. What this card screams out is, put me in Shen. It goes so well with Shen's Cannon. Play this card, Shen's Cannon. It's just 7 damage a turn going to the enemy. It's 5 on the end of yours, 2 at the beginning of yours. Needles at the end of your turn. Another friendly gets plus 2 health. It's a very good, solid control deck card. A 2/5 card with Swift is always very good. If you especially put an equipment on it. Usually people put equipment on it. It makes it almost like a legendary. And now finally a legendary I do have. I'm talking about all these legendaries I don't have. Here we go. I have one. I have a few. Scroll Eater. Meditate whenever you play a warrior. Add a food card to your hand. This won't go in every deck, although it possibly could. It's just a great way to heal. It's a great legendary to have. It's not a must-have by any means, but it's a cool card with high health that gives you food. I have it in my Poe deck, and this was the card when I got it. I thought this is Poe. This is for Poe, but it can be used for anything really, just to give you a little bit of health, a little bit of power. Some of the cards you get out of it are Nasty Tofu, which is a debuff that you can put on an enemy that reduces his strength to 1, which is monstrous. You have a card that restores 1 health to all your minions, which goes really well with that card that draws a card. You have a +1 health card. You have a +1 attack card. There's just a lot of things in there, the food you can get, buffs you can get off that. Scroll Eater is a good card. Sharpshooter, deal 4 damage to an equipped enemy warrior, a good anti-tech card and pretty good defense. Skilled Sculptor, black out a random enemy warrior, farewell black, so you're blacking out stuff. It's a silence basically, and it's pretty solid. It's low health, so you want it to die. That's if you're running against a lot of cards that are giving you issues. Good to include. I don't see a need for it right now in the current meta. Sling Shooters at the end of each turn deal 1 damage to a random enemy warrior. In my Cloak and Dagger Shen deck, I have a lot of these what I call pokey cards, like Needle Shooter, Sling Shooter, Zay Spies, stuff like that just kind of pokes, and it's kind of fun. Because Shen has a lot of pokey cards to go with it. So it's a kind of a pokey deck. I call it Cloak and Daggers because there's some cloak cards and dagger cards. It's kind of fun, but you need some punch because you're not going to wear somebody down with 1 attack minions. So you need some substantial power to go with it. There's another pokey card, Smasher, deal 2 damage. You kind of get the idea. A 3/4 Swift is actually fairly solid. I just wanted to have a little more health to use it. Spring Striker, range damage +1. Again, the range damage thing hasn't really taken effect yet. Stoic Strateger, Kickoff, draw a card. Another good card to draw a card to go with Quick Pockets and to go with the 1/2 Goose. Get some cards in your hand. The Gatherer, I have this card and I like it, and it is a fairly good card to go with the Allergist. This card, the 4/2, the Resilient, it's not bad. It's kind of like a bomb that adds health and guard to somebody. So it's a decent card. Not a must-have, but a decent card. Tusketeer, Meditate Cloak, another cloak card. Cloak synergy in the house. Just 2 little health for me. It's a one-time bomb, 4 cost, 5/2. Tusk is a really good card at 1/8, but you see a lot of the problems is if you have like the Goose, the Grumpy Goose, and Tusks, they're 1 damage. If you have Needle Shooter, it's 1 damage. Needle, it's 1 damage. You need some power to go with it. You can't just put all this defense in and not have any power. Alright, sorry. Tusks. Alright, Unapologist. Meditates, next attack, stun. Pretty solid card. I don't have it in my deck because I don't like Meditate too much, but it's a good card. Wool-Headed, Blackout a Warrior, another Silence. You can build a Silence deck with nothing but blackouts, but I just don't see the need for it in the current meta. I need more offense. And here is, if not the best legendary, one of the top 4 best legendaries in the game. It's a 0/7 with Cloak. and it totally neutralizes 90% of Tigers decks if you get it out, because it just picks apart all their cards before they can have a chance to use them, and it just gives you pokiness, and they can't do anything about it because it's in cloak, and it is brilliantly good card. Great for control. Armor Piercer is a solid card, plus 2 strength when it's equipped warrior. Even if it doesn't have an equipped warrior, you're looking at a 4/6. If it does, it's a 6/6, which is even better. So it's a good card with no drawback in terms of meditate. It's an underutilized card, but you're looking at a 5-cost 6/6. Where do you find those stats on any other card? You don't. So, I mean, it's pretty good. This card is so sweet, and it should be at least one in every one of your decks. It's a deals 3 damage and comes out in play with no requirement other than you just play it. It has meditate, but so what? It has cleared so much trash for me in the past. It's like Bunny Bowman, but a 5/4 version. So 2 Bunny Bowmans and 1 barrel launcher is a must include in your decks, in my opinion. Belligerent Billy, meditate and dodge. 3 dodge is pretty good, 5 attack, so it'd have to kill it twice possibly. So this would be, if there's a dodge one to use, this would be one I'd use. Bovine Botanist, poison all warriors with guard. Oh, that's a nasty idea if you're running against a control deck like Mantis. This card is a phenomenal card. Champion, Furious, plus 3 strength. When it gets damaged, it has a new ability as it just gets. So if you hit it, like let's say you attack an enemy with it, the Master, it's a 4/5, but it's not. Instead, it's a 7/5 because it adds 3 strength. You can't beat that. That's a good card to have if you want to craft a big beefy late game. Clumsy Bunny, unequipped reanimating warrior. That's okay. Good health pool, and it's a bunny synergy. Cut Purse, meditate, kickoff, gain +1 for each friendly warrior having play. That is such a good card. Such a good card, especially in a Zerg deck like Tigers or any kind of control-y deck. Gives you another big control-y minion. Let's say you had 3 cards on the board, like in Mantis. It's all of a sudden an 8/8. If you have 3 little bunnies, this is so easy to do. In Tigers, it's an 8/8. I mean, it's a monster card. So think about crafting that and using her. I've only seen her use once, and it was a nightmare. Delivery Billy. So let's just say even if you have 2 cards out, which is how many times you have 2 cards out, at 5 costs, she's a 7/7. This is an underutilized card in the set. Delivery Billy, meditate, range damage +1. Again, it hasn't taken off, and it has meditate. And honestly, you're looking at the card right next to it. That'd be much better to have because it could be a 7/7. Golden Goose. If you have a warrior guard, your master has +2 strength this turn. Solid card. This card is really good. The Grand Grazer has spillover. So let's say you have one against a deck that likes to have 1 health guy in taunt, pulls it back. This guy would hit it, and then every damage over 1 would spill over to other warriors. So do 4 to the next warrior, so there'd be a warrior next to it. It's really solid card. Or it's just a 5/3 that hits right in the face, and it's a 5/1. So this is just a great card, great offensive card. Jinhu, meditate, kickoff, equip the Iron Fist of Justice to another friendly warrior. 5 cost 6/3. I hate the health on it, but it is a very aggressive card. But it has meditate, so I just don't like it in any way. Please let me know if you disagree. It's just some legendaries I just don't see that they're that great, and this is one of them. I'm sure it has a place, but there are better costs. So a 5 cost 6/3 that has to wait a turn, or a 5 cost 5/4 that does 3 damage. I think that is a common that's better. Now, I don't know what the Iron Fist of Justice is, so maybe it's this amazing equipment that I don't know. Please write in and let me know. I could be very wrong. Kung Fu Kid is it gotta be in every Crane deck. It's like a finisher for me. Put it in there, put some equipment on it. It's like 6 damage that goes over guard, and they can't deal with it. It's great. One of my favorite legendaries. Master Flying Rhino. It comes in with a 2/1 Armor of Legend. So it's a 6/7 when it hits the board at 5, which is amazing. And it has Swift, which is even more amazing. So it hits hard and stays as 6/5 defender. Now they can clear it out, and it's easy to clear out, but it is just a nice card. A great card to have in your deck, but not as overpowered as you think. That card that's legendary is just a little bit better than that card. in terms of threat, because it has Swift. It is better, obviously, but this card can be an 8/8, whereas the most that Master Flying Rhino can do is 7. That being said, I'd rather Master Flying Rhino, but I'm trying to say there's some good cards in there. Master Tai. I got him today, as a matter of fact, and I disenchanted him as soon as I got him, which sounds bad. Meditate, leap. Your warriors have meditate and leap. It slows you down. It puts your people on meditate. If you already have a meditate deck, it gives them leap, which gives you a big bonus. The 2/6. It's a good card. I don't want to be slowed down. I hate meditate, so it's like the worst card I could ever have. Excuse me. If you're a big proponent of meditate, you're probably like, yes, this card is the best. Nagging Nanny. Furious +3 strength is a really great card. Basically, you hit the opponent's face, it comes to 6/6. Can't beat that. It's a common card. One Arm Bandit. Equip a friendly warrior with a +2 strength scalpel. A very good card for Shen and Wolves. Percussion. Give all the bunnies +2 health. A great bunny synergy card. Potion Purveyor. A great meditate card because it heals, so it's good in a control deck. Sanguine Scholar. I love this card. You hit somebody with it, it deploys a 2/2 pet. The only reason I don't use it is because it's only a 2/2 pet and it can be easily taken care of, but it's a great card if you're looking to build board presence. So you play this on turn 10, right? So you have nothing on the board. You play this, you're going to have something on the board on turn 10. You play this, you hit, it's for 3/5 now with a 2/2 bunny. You play, this is all in one turn. You play, where is she? Where'd she go? Now she's leaving me. You play this in conjunction. So on turn 10, you could have a 5/5, a 2/2. Excuse me. She would be a 7/7. You have a 7/7, a 2/2, and a 3/5 on the board. That's a lot to deal with. Shellcracker is a great card if you're going against a lot of anti-equipment tech because it basically turns them all into red emblem, which is the Shen card that reduces everybody to 1/1. Spicy Sow. Restore 5 health to 2 friendly characters. That's really good for control, but it's such a low health I don't really use it. One of my favorite cards in the deck. This is the equivalent of a 1-turn kill in Tigress. You play this card with the opponent has 3 or 4 creatures on the board, and you play Tigress' ultimate ability, and you've just won the game in 1 turn. So let's say they have 3 creatures on the board. Let's say they have 4 creatures on the board, which is common. You play this card, you get 4 2/1 rabbits. You play Tiger's ultimate ability, and this is all by turn 7 or 8. You then have 26 damage in 1 turn on the board, going right to face. It's tough to deal with, and that's with 1 card. 1 card can do 26 damage if the board's set up right. Let's say there's 3 cards on the board. Okay, so you're looking at 15, 21 damage. You get the idea. It's ridiculous. I love it. And that's at 7. If you have other bunny synergy cards on there, at turn 10, it could be ridiculous. You could look at just a bunny 1-turn kill with split hairs at 5, Tigress' ultimate ability at 3, which is it's 8 mana so far, and then at 2, you add the Bellhopper. Where is it? The little purple card. So the Bellhopper, all your bunnies get +2. I think Tiger's ultimate ability could be 2 cost. So you do 5, fill up the board with bunnies. You do 2, the Bellhopper, they all have +2 strength. You do Tiger's ability, they all have +3 strength. So you're adding +5 strength to a board full of bunnies, plus these 2 bunnies. Instant death. Instant death. So, bunny synergy in terms of a 1-turn kill. Okay, so Steelsmith, your equipped enemy warriors gain. Let me see something. I want to see how long I'm going here. I don't want to. I'm going for an hour already. Oh my goodness. Okay, so we're gonna stop the first video right there on split hairs, and we're gonna continue the second part on the next video. Let me press stop here and